Hey, it's Erin. Today's topic is ROM. It's a range of motion. And what is range of motion? Well, this is basically the distance that a weight or load is going to travel as you're performing a rep. If we're able to increase range of motion, we can actually increase flexibility and mobility as we're training. In addition to this, we can increase the intensity and difficulty of an exercise without having to go heavier. So if you have a couple of 10-pound plates just lying around, I'm going to show you some common exercises that you're probably already doing and ways that we can increase that range of motion. Now, there are some other potential benefits to increase range of motion training. These include potentially decreasing your injury risk. So the thought is, by increasing that active range of motion, you're stabilizing and you're strengthening your muscles and your joints through that wider range of motion. Another potential benefit could be enhanced muscle gain. So if you think about it, you're able to stretch those muscle fibers a little bit differently and strengthen those muscle fibers in a range of motion that's a lot different than what you have been doing, then you could potentially gain more muscle. So grab your 10-pound plates and let's train. Our first exercise is a toe elevated RDL. By elevating the toes, you're going to get a much deeper stretch in the hamstrings. You're also going to get the benefit of a little cheat here. So it's going to encourage you to push your weight through your heels, which can help really accentuate that posterior chain and can help with encouraging proper form. So that first cue you want to think about when you're holding the dumbbells and you're standing is to push your hips back. So you always want to think about hinging at the hips. Everything else is just kind of stabilizing. Take it nice and slow. Really get the weight pushed through the heels. Keep the dumbbells right in front of you, close to your body. Now, as you come up to that standing position, you can tuck your chin, round your back slightly. This is going to engage those glutes just a little bit more. And as you get more comfortable with the exercise, think about just steadily increasing that range of motion. Again, if you're comfortable with it, and make sure your back stays nice and flat throughout the exercise. Really important. And again, push the weight through the heels and really think about squeezing those glutes on the way up. Next exercise is a heel elevated dumbbell deadlift. This variation is excellent at increasing range of motion, as most of us have a little bit of mobility issues in ankles, or we may not have the hips that are made to deadlift properly. So I know for me, I'm a little bit shorter in the torso, longer in the femur, so elevating those heels can help me with proper form. So here, weight distribution, if you want to hit the front of your legs, so if you want to hit those quads a little bit more, you're going to push your weight through the toes. If you still want to focus on the hamstrings and the glutes, think about almost standing on those plates. Keep the upper body nice and tall. And for this exercise, of course, any exercise, knees are always going to follow the direction of the toes. My toes are turned out slightly, so my knees are turned out slightly. Dumbbells are right in front of me. Next exercise is a straddle squat. So here, this is a great exercise for glutes, for hamstrings. It may look a little bit silly. You're going to place the plates about a shoulder width and a half apart, and you're going to stand on the plates. So this is going to increase that range of motion. Now, with the straddle squat, you're going to place that dumbbell just a little bit behind where you normally would for a traditional deadlift, and your upper body is going to stay bent over. So this is again going to hit glutes. And for this exercise, you want to make sure again that your knees are following the direction of the toes. So toes are pointing straight ahead, knees are pointing straight ahead. And you can experiment with the width of your stance too. So you can stand a little bit narrower, you can stand a little bit wider, but you want to make sure that that upper body is about at parallel when you're mid-rep. Next exercise, we are doing a heel elevated goblet squat. We're doing a bit of a frog stance here. This is going to be amazing for those quads. So if you're looking to build beautiful quads, this is a great exercise to add in to your routine. Now for this exercise, of course, the heels are on the plate, toes are turned out, heels together, knees turned out. Weight distribution is going to be through the toes. So we're trying to hit those quads. Upper body stays nice and upright. And with that goblet squat, you want it resting right about at the clavicle. You want to keep your elbows underneath that dumbbell. This is going to really help with stabilization. This is going to really help with stabilization. So both on the way down and on the way up, you want to think about pushing, actively pushing through the toes. And keeping that upper body nice and tall is going to also help with really hitting those quads. And just like the heel elevated deadlift, this is going to help increase that range of motion. Next exercise is a front foot elevated split squat. By elevating that front foot, we're able to increase the range of motion on that front leg. We're getting that upper leg to below parallel. And this is going to hit the glutes, hit those hamstrings just a bit more. So if you're used to doing traditional split squats, elevate that front foot, you're really going to feel a difference. Now with this, you want to think about keeping your upper body kind of split in between the front leg and the back leg. So you're nice and balanced. Now when you switch sides, you want to make sure that you are doing it exactly the same from left side to right side. You want to start with that non-dominant side. Of course, if you want to hit the glutes and the hamstrings a bit more, you really want to focus on keeping that weight distribution on the front foot through the heel. Now with the split squat, really think about keeping your knee aligned with the foot. Very important to not let that knee cave in. So actively think about pushing your knee out as you come up from the split squat. Very, very important. This is going to protect your knees and let you lift healthy for a long time. For any exercise, especially increased range of motion exercises, you want to make sure that you're using proper form. Also, it's really important to start with either body weight or lighter weight than you would normally use, as you're probably not used to that increased range of motion, especially at that end range. So it's just a good idea to start lighter and then add weight as you see fit. Now for any of these exercises that you're currently doing, you can just add those plates, swap them out. So if you're doing RDLs already, feel free to add those. Keep in mind too that when you're on the Smith machine or if you're using a barbell, you can still use plates. Again, you want to start light and make sure that you can handle the load. If you try these exercises and you love them, please tag me on social media. I really enjoy seeing you take the exercises and make them your own. And please don't forget to like this video if you like it, and please consider subscribing and joining the Fit Fam. That's it for this time. Until next time, train smart and train hard, y'all.